Hey, this is Marilyn Gigliotti.
Hey, this is Brian O'Halloran.
Hey, everybody. My name is Scott Schiaffo, actor best known as the Chulies Gum Guy from the film Clerks.
And welcome to Clerks Minute.
You're listening to Clerks Minute.
And I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Hi, this is Mike Zapsik from AMC's Comic Book Man, the podcast I Sell Comics, and the Ming and Mike Show. And you're listening to Clerks Minute. What's up, everybody? This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. You got a minute? Good, because you're listening to Clerks Minute.
Hey, this is Walt Flanagan, the Lon Chaney of the 90s, and you are listening to Clerks Minute.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Clerks Minute Summer Series, episode number 5. I'm Blake.
I'm Kyle.
And, wow, what the fuck did we just watch before we came on the air? We're going back to the Clerks Animated Series, episode number 2. What is the name of this episode, Kyle?
The Clipshow, wherein Dante and Randal are locked in the freezer and remember some of the great moments in their lives. Original air date, June 7th, 2000. Written by a teleplay by David Mandel and Kevin Smith. Story by Paul Dini and David Mandel and Kevin Smith.
And this is the weirdest, 20 minutes of anything I've watched in a very long time.
Okay, is this even stranger than the live-action pilot?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the clock, and we just paused it on the credits, and it's literally less than 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Less than 21 minutes, and it felt longer. It really did feel longer at times. This is a weird episode of this show.
Like I said, weirder than the live-action pilot, or...
Up there with that. If you heard that episode a couple weeks back, that was a weird one, too. So...
Unfortunately, this episode has a severe lack of bagel hockey.
Oh, yay. So I guess let's get started here. On the DVD set, we started with an introduction of Kevin giving Jay a massage.
Yeah,
this is so
Bob
random.
giving Jay a massage. Yeah,
so random. I don't. But the point is, I don't even think it's I think it's just Kevin Smith and Jay Muse. At this point. I think it's just them goofing around doing intros with this show. I'm committed to that.
And I'm sorry, this made me think of a line from a Cinema Snob episode after.
This made it first. I'll set you up.
Okay.
So. My reaction was, what the fuck? And then Jay is just cursing up a storm just because he can, because they can't curse on the show. So he's just using dropping every curse, except for the fact that he said, suck a dick, and then, no, don't do that. Don't suck a dick. But he just said every other curse word imaginable. And then they go back to the massage.
Yeah, and, just went, and then they went home and fucked each other, because they're totes straight, you see.
Totes straight.
It's a line from a Cinema Snob episode.
That's funny.
Look up the episode Driller.
Driller? Okay.
Yeah.
Totes straight, you see. So that happened. So then we start the show, which... if that's the beginning, I don't know what to say. So I love the fact that it starts with next week on Clerks.
Oh, we forgot the disclaimer there. It's
there was a whole big disclaimer that I didn't write down. So
but yeah, it's pretty much the same as the one from the last episode.
Right.
But they, of course, the gag is that they changed the last one there.
Right.
In retaliation, the show endorses no celebrities, except for Ben Affleck, pre-Reindeer Games.
What's the issue with this? What's the issue with Ben Affleck and Reindeer Games? I don't get the joke.
It was apparently a very poorly reviewed movie, and... Yeah, it was actually one of the bigger bombs of its day.
Okay, I didn't get the joke. Okay,
although oddly enough, the movie's since been reissued in a director's cut that actually got much better received.
Okay. All right. Well, next week on Clerks, we cut to Dante buried under his clothes, which I feel like a symbolism of him being locked in his closet in the movie. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Or maybe trapped by a shitty life.
That's true, but I just like the fact that he's buried under his clothes. I didn't notice this dog laying on the bed like in the movie.
Yeah.
Randomly.
And for some reason wearing a sweater vest.
It makes no sense. It's a cartoon sometimes.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, it's a cartoon. Yeah. So you get the phone call that the Quick Stop was robbed. Well, he shows up at the Quick Stop. It wasn't robbed. They just left it messy.
Yeah.
They left it messy.
But yeah,
okay, I have a question. So later on, the locksmith is here. They say they were robbed, but he's saying they weren't robbed. Were they robbed or not?
Well, no, they said the place was torn apart. Animals.
Yes, were they robbed or were they not robbed?
I think they were. I think they were robbed. It's just that the cops actually confused the mess that was left behind for something that the robber did.
Okay, I was confused by that whole thing. That's why I was like, what?
Oh, and even better is actually that's how we left it last night. Son, you sell cigarettes here.
I added in my notes. You sell cigarettes here. You should respect your job.
Yeah, because the first step to respecting yourself is respecting the job. Guy leaves. give a few seconds. Oh, by the way, do you happen to have a copy of Fat Chicks?
And we hit intro music.
Yeah.
We get into this. All right. So the gag of Randal never working is always funny on the show.
Yeah.
It's always funny in the movie. It's always funny on this show.
Yeah.
So Randal walks by to people waiting outside the video store. It's 11:59 a.m.
Yeah.
So
And
good morning. But I love the people outside wanting to get into the video store.
yeah, yeah. When are you gonna let us in? In a minute, you harpy.
So 11:59 a.m. says good morning to Dante, and there's a locksmith changing the lock on the freezer.
And of course, we've got plumber's crack.
I have a question though. If they were robbed,
Yeah.
why are they changing the lock on the freezer?
Because if they didn't, then we wouldn't have an episode.
Oh no, I'm just saying though. Using logic here, why would they changing the locks on the freezer?
We probably don't want anyone getting in to get the meat in that.
Wouldn't they be worrying about the money?
Well, they probably already took care of that. They just
It was just a weird thing that they were just referencing. That's all.
Yeah.
I understand the point of what we're doing. I'm just throwing inside the character here.
I was gonna say, perhaps the boss is just that paranoid.
Okay. I love how
You know, when he's not leaving for Vermont on no notice.
yeah, go back to the beginning of our first season for that one.
Yeah.
Dante said they were robbed, and I love how Randal accuses him of it being an inside job,
Yeah.
which is funny.
No, Dante would be more the kind to burn it down.
Yes, I don't have my soundboard up, right? I play the Burn It Down clip from WWE.
Yeah.
So the locksmith says, okay, I'm done here. I got to go home. They broke into my house, too.
Yeah.
What?
Nobody's getting in this door. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go back home. They broke into my house, too. Yeah, this is not exactly looking good for the locksmith.
So they go in. They don't want to test the locks. Fair enough.
Although even better, Randall's notes it's flimsy in news. Remember what the guy said? Nobody's getting in this door. You pay back. They look back to see that the locksmith is standing right behind him. Sorry, I forgot my tools.
Okay.
This is not exactly a ringing endorsement for this locksmith.
Well, the next moment is because they want to test out the lock. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, you're paying this guy what? How much? Paying this guy how much?
I guarantee he wasn't getting paid much at all. The way his attitude was, I'm not gonna lie. So they want to use the lock. They go. So Dante goes in. Fair enough. And he thinks Randall's on the other side of the door. And Randall's in the freezer with him, apparently, because that is what Randall would do.
He somehow teleported.
There's a lot of weird shit in this episode. That's just a minor thing compared to the shit we're going to be doing in this episode.
Apparently, Randall is Jason Voorhees when he's on his off hours.
So he's behind him in the freezer. Sometimes you got to remember this is an animated show.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they argue with the fact that they're both locked in the freezer, and then they fight and bitch slap each other, and then they're fine. They're fine. It's just so random, a matter of fact.
And it's their friendship in a nutshell.
Pretty much. So they say it's hot, cold. Make more Star Wars
Move around
references.
it. Make more Star Wars references. It'll help us to stay warm.
Okay, so here we go. This is where the weird shit starts. We're not gonna go through every single freaking line because it'll take us forever. But I have summaries of everything going on here. So it's flashback time because they made a joke saying if we were in a sitcom, we'd be flashing back to older episodes.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. This is actually for you because you know the history of the show a little bit closer to me. When this episode aired on television,
Yes.
what order does this episode air in? Was it like episode 4?
Yeah, the joke was killed somewhat because they aired episode 4 first.
Okay, thank you.
So, I mean,
I knew there was an order or issue on the air.
Yeah.
That's why I knew
So
there
they're
was one.
so they're flashing back to an episode that in when these originally aired hadn't aired yet.
So on the DVD set, this is funny. Yeah. On the air, it was not. Got it. I knew there was a reason behind this. So they're going to flash back to episode 1. Fair enough. And they're going to show all the highlights of episode 1, which is not a bad move. I mean, if you're jumping into the series on TV, episode 2, and you want an episode 1, fine. I can go with that. That's fine. Except they kept referencing back to them walking on the side of the building over and over again, which is funny. So Dante...
I want to offer you a job working here with me. I want you lock, stock, and barrel. Is this some sort of gay thing? No. You're sure? Yes.
So we won't go into full detail because we did it in the last episode, so we'll just do that. Go back to our last episode to hear us all talk about episode 1. The full hour of that. So Dante asked Randal, remember the first time we ever met? And we flashed back to them walking on the side of the building again, which makes no sense. Fine.
Yeah.
the cold is getting to me. Okay, so I wrote down some notes here just to clarify here. So they go back 15 years to 1985 when they met. And I love the fact that everyone's dressed in 80s gear. They're not.
And even better is I think the quick stop at that point is some sort of fashion place.
I think so. It's so stupid.
Oh no, everybody else is wearing 80s clothes. They're not.
Except for them. Yeah. Exactly the point. That's my point.
I know, yeah.
So then they're like, I don't think that's the first time we met. So they travel back to 1977? Is that what they said?
Oh, so they said, flashing back to little Randal in the 70s selling lemonade.
Well, I didn't give a year. They didn't give an exact year.
Yeah, they just said the 70s.
Okay, fine. So he's selling 25-cent lemonade. That's
Although,
cool.
let's be quite honest, knowing how much Kevin Smith loves Star Wars, it's probably 77.
That makes sense. That's probably why I thought of it. Yeah. That's probably the reason why I wrote it down. It's the first thing that came to mind. Yeah. So I just wrote down he may have killed a diabetic because he didn't tell him. He just wanted to make a sale and didn't care to tell him if there was sugar or not in this comic.
Hey, Randall's character in a nutshell.
That never changes.
Well, yeah, apparently neither did his voice because he apparently is, 6, 7 at this point, and he's hit puberty already.
Of course. Well, Randall at this point, because the guy died of diabetic shock, apparently.
Yeah.
Instantaneously, which is so not realistic whatsoever.
Unless he poured an entire bowl of sugar into that thing.
So not realistic. So he dies of diabetic shock, and he drops what he was holding, and Randall discovers his first porn magazine.
Yeah.
Well, another one of his friends is trying to introduce him to Dante. Is ignoring Dante, but that's not a summary of their friendship too. And we come back.
Why would he talk to Dante when there's perfectly good porn to be had?
But I love the fact that he still has the porn in his hand, frozen in the freezer with them.
Yeah.
And it's in he put it up his shirt. Like, what? Is it on him all the time from the 70s?
Yeah.
That can't be a good porn magazine now.
Well, actually, I thought it was just another issue of the same magazine.
I wasn't sure. That's the best part. It was the exact same cover.
It's frozen.
So, okay. Who came in? It was Mrs. Corbin?
Mrs. Corwin, yeah.
Corwin. She comes in, and you're right. Okay. Okay. I used to hang out at a grocery store all the time. Yeah. Because I worked in the morning shift, so my friends worked in the afternoon, and my buddy Joe worked at A&P. So I used to visit him all the time. He was a stock boy. I'd go in the back and hang out in the freezer section all the time.
Yeah.
There was no windows up. So you could hang out in front of the milk and talk to him putting up the milk right behind. We do that all the time. We'd have meetings, literally. We'd have a group meeting standing in front of this fridge, talking back and forth behind the milks. Why is there a bulletproof glass in there in front of the meat section?
Soundproof glass.
Soundproof. And, like, what the fuck? Why is it here? It makes no sense.
So, like, what? Are they afraid that? Are they afraid that they'll scare the milk?
I don't understand. It makes no sense. So they're trying to get her attention.
Milk stampede.
What did she steal besides his coat? I don't have that in my notes.
I think she just grabbed some stuff off the shelves.
And then grabbed his coat and ran.
Yeah. And even better is apparently since Randall came in sleeves, it's apparently not that cold out.
Well, it could be one of those things where Dante got there hours before him.
Yeah.
So it was cold then, and then the sun came out. It might be one of those things, I can go with that. I can actually go with that flow.
And even then, why did she steal his coat?
Because she was just randomly stealing shit, apparently.
Apparently, this is old Winona Ryder.
So sorry, my notes decided to jump down to the bottom of my notes. So he calls her, and she doesn't hear this obviously, because he calls her an old hag.
Yeah.
And then
the weed of crime bears bitter fruit, you old hag.
And now I have a question. Now I understand why he said that here. Why the hell, when we do the flashback, did he say that exact same sentence to Dante's mom?
Because he's Randall.
it's like, what? Okay.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit, you old hag. This is for you. Actually, I don't even think he said that to her mom. I think he said that to her sister.
I don't even know at that point. Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Boy, your mother was hot.
So they flash back to the times they were stuck in a freezer.
Yes, the scary thing is this happened at least twice.
At least twice that we know of in flashback form, because they're standing in the exact same spots, except Randall's shirt changes, which is funny to me. And one of them was down with Saddam, which is very funny. And what was the other one?
Down with Paul Reiser.
Jeez. So ridiculous.
Dear God, what did Paul Reiser do to you?
That was not what I get. That was Paul Reiser. I don't
Show us on the doll where Paul Reiser touched you.
I don't get that one.
What, they just really hate his character in Aliens that much?
So Dante goes and says, much like they say at